And we're live. I love that countdown part where it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're on live. It's kind of fun. Hi, I'm Deanna Nunez. I am the Vital Mind Coach and the creator of Mind Body Fit Club. I'm a mindset speaker and coach, and I travel around the world helping people shift their mindset, their habits, and behaviors to what they really desire in their life. And I always want to clarify that when you are desiring something means you don't have it. And so you want to take that leap. You want to move into action and move into courageousness so that you can create yourself in the way that makes you, just brings you joy and brings you that feeling of purpose. Like you are here to serve a purpose. And in fact, I love that I put this up there this week and I said, you are here to serve a purpose on purpose. And there's no purpose other than that purpose. So tonight we're talking about being able to really just lead. Instead of leading your life from anxiety, you're leading your life with vitality. And there's a big difference. And so I just wonder, like, have you ever felt that feeling of total desperation? I know I have, and I'm smiling through it right now, but I know in the moment it feels really crappy. It feels really awful, right? And so what I want to do tonight in this subject matter is to give you a very specific, really fun exercise. And it's a brain hack that you can do tonight. You can do this now, today, whenever you're watching this. Maybe you're watching it on the replay at some point. But I want to give you this exercise, and it's called the as if principle, so that you can hack into just advancing, accelerating where you want to be. And so this is really designed, this talk is designed for those people that you're feeling anxious in your journey to success. So quite possibly you have a goal, you set your goals, you say, okay, this is what I want to achieve, but it's not getting where you want to go fast enough, or you're just not feeling like you're really embodying the experience. Like you're watching from third party and you just don't always feel like you're a part of it. You don't feel synced in sometimes. And here you are hustling, but not necessarily becoming, right? You know what I'm talking about? So tonight we're going to talk about going from desperate to just absolute, the embodiment of what you believe success is. So let's just take a moment to say hello to any of our viewers that are here. Hi, Martha. Yes, the as if principle. She's already hashtagging it. So these are some of the guidelines. When we are on live together, you know, I've been performing for 20 years and I've gotten real used to hearing that audience applause. And why I love the applause is not for me, but for our experience. And so when you're hitting the hearts and the likes, it's creating fireworks. And I love it. It's like your applause. So let me see that for a moment. That applause going off. So these are the rules. If there's something that resonates with you, even the smallest of things, please interact with me. I love an interactive audience. This is what I have been so accustomed to, is an interaction with all my audiences on stages from, oh my gosh, way back in the day at county fairs to then, you know, the bigger stages opening for name acts and then starting to do seminars. And recently I've been doing contracts with Norwegian Cruise Lines for the last 18 months, traveling all over the world, performing and presenting mindset seminars. So I am used to interaction. And so I want that interaction from you guys. If anything that resonates with you, please throw it in there. Say what the word is that resonated with you. Give me an amen, sister. Not sister, but sister, right? So if you're here for the replay, make sure you type replay. I love to come in and interact with you guys once it's all over. It's not one and done. I come back in, I want to say hello, want to, get to know you even. If you have whatever you are like stumbling over and struggling over, this is my whole thing. I'm a Vital Mind Coach. I want to help you to be able to get in the head space and the heart space of just really being vitally alive. And that's very unique to you. For each specific person, you know what makes you vitally alive. So you need to be doing that. And if you're not, why aren't you doing that? What is causing you to not be that? That's what we want to break through for you. So as we go into tonight's chat, I encourage you to share this. Let's talk about what it is, really, that anxiety, that desperation that you feel. And I love this idea that it's not who you are that causes you the anxiety, but it's who you think you are not. And when we can then get connected to ourselves and what we feel, that whisper, we have the whisper within our head that or our hearts. Either way, it comes in. Sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's a scream, right? Sometimes it's so loud you can't ignore it. In fact, I love that quote. I think it's from Les Brown, where he says, God, talk to me where I can't ignore you. Send me the messages where I can't ignore you. That whisper of our purpose is in all of us. And sometimes we just have it tuned out, or we're not listening. And typically we're not listening, it's because we're looking outside. We have so much external focus that we haven't spent enough time looking within ourselves to understand ourselves better. And I think that is truly what I have come to understand personal development to be, is two things: to make the unconscious conscious. So many times we want to achieve our goals, or we see ourselves, in the limelight, or we see ourselves on this other big level, whatever that might be, a certain number in your business, or achieving awards, or having certain accolades. We see ourselves in this, glory, right? But then we haven't taken the time to look inside to understand what the blocks are that are keeping us from those places. We just get anxious when we're not there. We work hard, hustling, but when we don't achieve those things that are vision in our head, we get anxiety filled. And so the really personal development is making the unconscious conscious. So you want that stuff to bubble up, you guys. That's a good thing. You want to open that can of worms. And sometimes it's in the back of your head. People all say it in different ways. When I have talking with my clients, they'll go, if I could just get rid of the stuff in the back of my head, I'd be stellar. I'd be doing so good. They tend to refer to it here. But typically, I work with people that are achiever type mindsets. They are people that aren't laying on the couch. They're like, yeah, I want to do this. They have a vision, or they have a goal, something they want to achieve. But then they go, but I have all this stuff. I have burdens that I don't really 100% listen to, because otherwise I would be sitting on the couch doing nothing. But there is a percentage of you, part of you, that feels like you're being held back by stuff that you've been through, and like we all have that stuff. And so personal development, the second part of that, is being able and willing to offload those things, to be able to repurpose them, to be able to turn your struggles into strengths, see them as such. It's really all about perspective. But so many times we are fish that cannot see our own water. And that is why you have the brilliance of a coach, so that you can have that outside perspective and that can guide you with their expertise. And that's what I've chosen to do for a living, and I absolutely love it. In addition to that, I go on stages and speak this truth as well, so that everyone can hear it, and they take little bits and pieces. And so that's what I encourage you to do tonight. Take the little bits and pieces of what you can just internalize and embody from this moment forward. I love this quote. There's one of my business coaches, as of recently, is a really amazing guy. His name is Adam Urbanski, and he said we need to read this book. And so anytime, and I can't believe that I actually hadn't heard of it yet. It's called Letting Go by David Hawkins. And I have read a ton of personal development books. In fact, it is the very thing that got me going from A to Z. And maybe I'm not at Z yet. I hope not. It's not the end. But I know that there was a time in my life where I really felt very low. I had very low self-esteem, and I didn't feel the feeling of worthiness that I now feel. And it was many years ago, but I remember those are being really dark times. And the thing that turned my light bulb on, that got me so excited, was a few things. First of all, it was the quest to get that stuff out of my head, because I had this inkling inside of me that I could go and do some pretty amazing things, and that I had that desire, that yearning, but I knew that I wasn't going to get there unless I got the stuff either out of my head or moving forward with me, right? And so I started reading all kinds of books. That's where I started. And so I love that I learned about this book, Letting Go. And he says some pretty significant, amazing things in this book. And so I wanted to just quickly share this quote. The person who suffers from inner poverty is relentlessly driven to accumulate on the material level. So they're constantly looking external. And then he says, handling an emotional crisis leads to greater wisdom and results in lifetime benefits. Fear of life is really the fear of emotions. It is not the facts that we fear, but our feelings about them. Woo! So it's not the circumstances, but how we're responding to the circumstances. And then he says, once we have mastery over our feelings, our fear of life diminishes. Is that not a powerful paragraph? I really, really loved reading that. So the problem is the feeling of worry, the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of the fear, and that hustling, that urgency. And then you tend to feel, when you get off track, you're lost, you're confused, you no longer have clarity, and you have to constantly redirect, which is exhausting, right? Are you with me on this one? Give me some likes and hearts. I know you are. So think about that. Oh my gosh, the anxiety behind your dreams and goals. So what if you could do it in a much more graceful way and actually enjoy the journey, as this cliche says, right? I think that you'll find some tactics here to be able to do that. So I see it everywhere that hustle has become really sexy. And we see it in memes, and everybody touts their hustle, and people are getting on social media and sharing, oh, I'm hustling, and they show pictures of them working hard and all their achievements and what they're doing, and it's become this sexy thing to work your ass off and look really cool while you're doing it for your social media friends and fans, right? So what I think is really a shame, and is something that you guys can, because you're listening to this, can tweak in that hustle, because I do think that, and I'm sure you would agree, that work ethic is so important. So give me thumbs up if you agree with that. Work ethic is so important. However, I don't want to say but, and work ethic is important, and how you do it in your performance is vitally important. And there's a couple of things. Hey, Troy, can you hand me this stack of books? Are you right here? Troy, can you hand me? Sorry, I went like this because he had his headphones on. Can you hand me that stack of books right there? Okay, so I wanted to share this with you guys really quick. Okay, you can hand it that way. Hand me all of them. Okay, these are good. Oh, and then my book. Okay, this is good. So this is a book that I was reading called The Power of Full Engagement as well. And when I read this, I was like, oh my gosh, are they in my head? This Jim Lohr and Tony Schwartz? Because this is how I think. I think like this, and this is how I coached before I read the book. But I would encourage you to read it, and I'll post a link down below where you can see the name of it, The Power of Full Engagement. So often we are in our hustle just full out without renewing our energy. And that is why health and vitality is such a huge part of my personal development coaching, is because it is the basis, it's the founding principles, it's the foundation of your outputs. It's absolutely important that you don't just hustle all the time, but give yourself those breaks so that your energy can renew and revitalize itself so you have better output. So it's absolutely vital in your quest. So as we talk about this, and we talk about strong work ethic, I want to tell you, I want you to think about a time where there was someone in your life that had a huge positive influence on you, and you saw them and you're like, I want to be like that person. Who was that? Who was that person? You saw them and you're like, I want to be like that. They embody how I want to feel about my life, some of the success that I want to have. And as we all have different aspirations for our careers and our growth and our family units, Let's include that as well because it's so important. Our finances, we look to people that have what we would like to have, right? And so when I think back, I think of this one particular person, and I talk about her a lot. And so hopefully I can say her name today, even without like, ooh, getting right. But she was my grandmother, Grandma Irene. Grandma Irene. So Grandma Irene grew up in rural Oklahoma in the Panhandle part. Do you guys know where that is? And she had a house that had a mud floor and a grass roof. Like that is how stinking poor they were. And she knew that if she was going to make something out of herself, she had to get out of Dodge. And I don't know that she had some like big, amazing dreams because as I knew her in more of her, obviously adulthood and as a grandma, she didn't really talk about like wanting to be like a big star or anything, but she had aspirations to, get out of Oklahoma and do more. And so she met my grandfather, and I won't tell you all the details, maybe at a later time, because it's a really, really great story. I just want to keep it kind of succinct to what our context is tonight, our content is tonight. And that is that my grandfather and her, they ended up moving to Pasadena, California. And by the time they got to Pasadena, and this is way back in the day, you guys, when they got to Pasadena, they only had a nickel in their pockets. And so they needed to get to work, right? That hustle that we're talking about. And my grandmother was a hairdresser. She was a cosmetologist. And so she got to work doing hair, worked at a salon, and then she would save. My grandfather was also in the beauty business, and he sold perm machines and different kinds of equipment to beauty salons. And so he was a traveling salesman. So they both got to work. Well, they worked, and saved their money. They were able to buy a hair salon and open their own business. So then she had people working for her. Well, she saved. And then she was able to have a unit in the back where then she was able to rent that out. Well, then she saved. And they were able to invest with their savings in a home that had property. And they started building apartments on that property with the money they saved. They really didn't take loans from the bank. They just used what they had, and I believe it was 3 units at a time that they built, all on what they had saved. So they didn't really leverage, except for leveraging their hard work. And so they built units at a time. Well, before you know it, years passed, but they became millionaires. They had 28 units that started to bankroll and have compound interest. We know that's how your money grows. It was all about the investment. They made one really, really important move besides hustling, which was investing. So having their money work for them. So before you know it, this woman from rural Oklahoma that grew up in total poverty was now living a life of wealth. And her wealth, though, we would not have ever known because she was always very understated. They drove a brand new Chevy. My grandmother she always loved to go shopping at Salvation Army and buy purses and shoes that matched, but she got them at the Salvation Army. She was very frugal. They were very much religious people, and so they gave a lot of money to their church and to organizations that they really cared about. They made a huge difference. And so this woman that had a legacy in my eyes, she passed healthy, wealthy, and gracious at 103 years old. And so to me, that's the legacy of vitality that completely drives my passion and purpose in my work. So I ask you, what drives your passion and purpose in your work? Has there been a specific person in your life that showed you, that gave you the vision? Or is it something else? Maybe it was a learning in your life or a struggle that gave you a greater vision. And now the work is for you to take that vision and embody it. So I'm introducing you to an idea of what's called visionary thinking. And it's something that I have really grown to just, I want to learn more, I want to experience it, I want to practice it. As a hypnotherapist, when I'm working with a client one-on-one, what I create and facilitate for them is we leverage their visionary thinking. And what it does for them is it becomes very internal instead of external. It's just not me reading a book of somebody else's words, right? It's me internalizing. So if I'm the client, Now it becomes my vision, it becomes my words, it becomes my quotes that light me up, that light me on fire. And it's that the same experience happens for you. It's very customized. And so what we're doing is we're creating visionary thinking. So I want you to think in your life of the people that have given you the vision that you're going after today. Where did that start? And then you'll notice that along the way, there is what I call evidence of your truth. EOTs is the short version. An EOT is an evidence of your truth. And I feel that we all, when we are following a vision that has come from our hearts, and often it comes through the mind, right, as a vision, but that mind piece always is connected to emotion. It's always connected to what propels you forward. Is always something emotional. Emotions are the fuel to that visionary thinking. And so what I want you to do is to hack that tonight. I am going to give you this exercise. And here we go. I have it written down, and I'm going to post it actually inside our thread. I'm going to give you this exercise, and it's called the as if principle. And for me, I just have it like scratched out, but I'm going to tell you how to do it at home. So what you're going to do is you're going to take out a piece of paper and a pen, and maybe right now you don't have access to that, so you'll come back to this and listen to it and do the exercise again. But if you do have something handy, grab it. So a piece of paper and a pen. And here's a quote that I think is amazing from the book Letting Go. He says, "The world can only see us as we see ourselves." Love that. The world can only see us as we see ourselves. So how you see yourself and that identity has a lot to do with propelling yourself forward. So I think we can get caught up when we have a vision of where we want to go and we're not there yet. We can really get caught up in faking it till you make it. And I think that was a really popular saying for a while, but I think that it's external and it doesn't help you to internalize your goals. And as I've already shared to you, like that's my whole thing. This is how we leverage our subconscious mind and our visionary thinking is you want to internalize. So faking it till you make it, all that does is create imposter syndrome. We're all figuring it out as we go. We're all figuring out as we go. We're figuring out the steps. But for those of us that are really connected to our purpose and our passion, we have a bit bigger vision we're following. And the part that we're making up along the way is just the steps. But we know where we're going. We know where we're going. So I want you to start to trust yourself with that. Okay? Start to trust yourself. What would it look like for you to trust yourself? Something for you to really embody and internalize. Okay? So let's do this as if principle. So on one side of the paper, you're going to write now. On one category, you're gonna have two categories. On one category, you're gonna write now, and in the other category, you're gonna write future self. Or you could even write intention, which I love. That would be amazing, right? Intention. So now and intention. And what I want you to do is I want you to go over to the intention side, and I want you to close your eyes, put your hand on your heart that is your dominant hand, whether it's left or right, and place it on your heart, take a deep breath, and close down your eyes. And then take that breath several times. You want to just sink into your body, surrender any tension that you've been holding for the day, surrender it, and allow your body to relax. Nice, easy, deep breaths all the way in. And then hold it at the top, and then exhale out. I love the Navy SEAL breathing. And that is breathe in 4 seconds, hold 4 seconds, exhale 4 seconds. That is a practice that the Navy SEALs teach and practice so they can be calm in high anxiety moments. So you can do that Navy SEAL breathing, nice deep breaths. And then when you close your eyes, you're going to just stay connected with your heart. And I want you to imagine, visualize, and think about your intentions, who you intend to be. And allow that vision to be created in your mind based on the goals and aspirations that you want to create. Now, you might find that you are focusing this on a very specific category of your life. Maybe it's in your health. Maybe you want to lose 40 pounds. So then what I want you to do is visualize yourself and what you're intending to create. And I want you to allow yourself to just bubble up, think about the attributes of your intentions. Think about the attributes of who you will be when you are fully in that space of intention. So your future self, who will you be? And what are the attributes? That's the first part. And if it's that you're wanting to create a goal for yourself in your business, what you want to aspire to in your business, which I love to talk to business people about because that is part of my work. So maybe that's a business goal of aspirations. Who will you be when you are your full intentional self? What are the attributes that you'll hold, that you'll carry, that you'll represent? Attributes. And so just to give you like some ideas to get going, for me personally, some of my attributes are I'm kind, I'm generous, I'm focused, I have systems so that I'm not anxious. I have systems in place. I have support around me. I'm very healthy focused. I know that is a powerful energy, and so I stay very healthy. I'm disciplined with my schedule, disciplined with my nutrition, and it feels good. I enjoy that discipline. And I rely on those energy systems, not just hustling all the time, but in relying on my energy systems. So those are my attributes. What are yours? So what I want you to do then is once you get fully connected with some of the things that pop up for you, who will you be in your future self as your fully intended self? And then what I want you to do is open your eyes, come back, and I want you to write down all those attributes. So you write them down. And I want you to also allow yourself, perhaps when your eyes are closed, or to go back into that space and say, what are the actions? That's the second part. What are the actions of that future self or that fully realized self in your intentions? What are the actions? So attributes and actions of that future self. And I want you to write all those down. And then once you've gotten them written down, you're going to pull them over to the now category and write them down over there. Okay? And what you're doing now is it's a brain hack. You are living each day as if you were already your future self. How awesome is that? So it's an as if exercise. Now, as if are two very, very powerful words. They are written in Think and Grow Rich. They are written in Joseph Murphy's The Subconscious Mind, Power of the Subconscious Mind. They are written in self-development books from 100 years ago, right? So the as if principle, it's not my principle, but it's something that I have embodied. I use in my work all the time. So if I am working with somebody one-on-one, I say it's as if you're already at your goal. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you experience? And so we're brain hacking, right? We're allowing you to experience what it's like to embody those goals, to internalize those goals. So this is the as if principle. So what you do then from this point on is you wake up in the morning and you read and embody those attributes and actions. Let them be your guide. Now, I also have a process that I created called the Daily Ambitions of Living an Intentional Life. Daily Ambitions of Living an Intentional Life. And it is a morning routine and ritual that I have all my clients start doing. And let me tell you, it absolutely works. So if you want more information on that, I'm happy to share it with you. I'm going to be doing a training on it. And it's also something that is a huge, beautiful bonus when you come and work with me. I do private programs with people. So if this is something that you think, oh my gosh, the whole point is to really be able to advance your growth, whether it be in your body, your business, or your mindset, to be able to advance your growth. So I want to just share with you that I'm thinking about doing this. We're going to close in just a moment. I've been thinking about doing a really cool program, and maybe you'll be interested. It's called Believe You Can Fly, and it's a 21-day program to advance your mindset, your body, and your business. Kind of what I just mentioned, but in more of a group experience where it's kind of your first bite in. And if that's something that you think you would like to participate with me, you know, as we know, the minimum takes 21 days to make or break a habit. And what we want to do is create an experience with an incredible mind shift to where working out feels easy. You're in a routine, you're in a ritual, you got your goals, you're very focused on your goals. Focus is usually a thing that's broken for you. And when we improve and fix your focus, man, you'll find that you have such clarity on getting to your goals. And so that was what we will do in that Believe You Can Fly 21-day program to advance. If that's something that you were possibly interested in, be like, yes, I want to know more about Believe You Can Fly. You can type that in here. We're also going to, once I decide to introduce it, if we have enough interest, then I will make it go live, and there will be a program fee for that. But if that's something that you want to invest in yourself, then please raise your hand and let me know, and I will message you privately. Okay, so you guys got all of this great stuff. You got the As If principle, and I want to know your biggest takeaways tonight. Please share them in the thread, because I always come back and talk with you guys and answer your questions and give you kind of like little ideas of what you can do to implement. So let me just quickly say hello. Hi, Star. Thank you so much for being here with the kids. I love that you call your daughters your gypsy soul. Oh my gosh, I love that when I go and Facebook stalk you because you're always putting good pictures of your kids. And Martha, thank you for being here, Martha. I appreciate your presence. Once again, Chantel. Oh my gosh, Chantel has done an amazing job. She's one of my clients, and she launched her first masterclass. She went from A to Z fast in the last 10 weeks, and boy, that's been amazing. Thank you for being here, Chantel. You guys, please share this. These are our principle. This As If principle is something that is really important for a lot of the, you know, all of our friends and colleagues that have goals and aspirations. We want those people to be around us because we are the movers and the shakers, right? And amen to that. So share it with them, and I just look forward to our continued success. Thanks you guys for being here. Love you. I'm Deanna Nunez signing off. Vital Mind Coach, your Vital Mind Coach. Bye. 3, 2.